90 Chanel mob wife. Running through these New York streets, about to go have this dinner with my husband.
Oh, wait. So are you tired of people asking about you know who?
No.
21. So you're not tired of hearing about 21?
Lotto,
we love you. We love you, girl.
On my video, obviously, you sent the hit, but it's like, with that situation, all you did was hurt yourself more because these people on this TikTok app know that girl was pregnant and you sent somebody to put hands on her. Nobody know what I was gonna do. Keep the baby, not keep the baby. Nobody knows what my plan was, okay? And at the end of the day, it's like, where I'm at in it, it's nobody's business, but it's like, you kind of almost took that choice from me. So it's like, now, we could have had a talk. It could have been handled. And granted, you don't owe me a conversation. I don't owe you one.
Y'all, this isn't just messy. This is the kind of humiliation that plays out in slow motion, where every single receipt comes back at the worst possible time. Because imagine going that hard for a man, defending him, claiming him, standing 10 toes down in public, only for the truth to hit you like this. Not only is another woman pregnant by him, but it's happening at the same time as you. And it's not even a random woman. It's the same one tied to that drama you already got dragged for, the same situation you tried to downplay like it was nothing. Now everything is circling back, louder, messier, and impossible to spin. And while all of this is unfolding, there's one person who hasn't said a word, hasn't raised her voice, hasn't done anything loud at all, his actual wife. She's just watching. Quiet, calculated, letting everything fall into place exactly how it was always going to. And somehow, that silence is saying more than anything else ever could. Because the way this all started, it didn't look like a mess at first. It looked like a relationship people just weren't supposed to understand. For the longest, it was one of those if you know situations. The tattoos alone had people raising eyebrows. Matching placements, same style, same energy. That's not something casual. Then you had the vacations, the little slip-ups, the moments where they were clearly together but still acting like they weren't. It was giving hidden in plain sight. And from the outside looking in, it really did feel like they were basically together, just choosing to keep it low-key. But the problem is, while she was moving like this was her man in real life, he was moving completely different in public. Anytime his name got brought up next to hers, it was denial, distance, and detachment. No acknowledgement, no confirmation, nothing. So now you've got two completely different narratives happening at once. Privately, it's real, but publicly, it doesn't exist. And that kind of disconnect, that's where things start to fall apart. But instead of stepping back, she leaned in even harder. This is where the defending started, and not in a subtle way either. Every time people tried to label her as the side chick, she shut it down immediately. She wasn't trying to hear it. According to her, people were just being messy, obsessed, and completely wrong. She made it very clear. She wasn't second to anyone, and the lifestyle she was living proved it. The gifts, the trips, the energy, it was all taken care of. And she wasn't shy about letting people know that. It turned into this whole era where she was basically saying, y'all don't know what's really going on, but I do. And then slowly, almost without realizing it, the language started changing. It went from denial to confidence to subtle claiming. Little comments here and there, then bigger ones. Until suddenly, she's out here casually referring to him as her husband. Not in a joking way, either. It sounded real. And that's when people really started paying attention, because now it wasn't just rumors anymore. She was standing on it. But right when it felt like everything was finally lining up into something solid, that's when the first crack showed. And it didn't come from drama. It came from speculation. That performance overseas had people talking immediately. The energy was different, the look was different, and the rumors started spreading fast. Everyone was saying the same thing. She looked pregnant. And instead of ignoring it or letting it pass, she addressed it, but in a way that almost made people more suspicious. Brushing it off, laughing it off, blaming it on food, it felt a little too quick, a little too convenient. And that's when the tone shifted. Because now it wasn't just gossip anymore. It was a question. If there's nothing to hide, Why does this feel like it's being hidden? And once that seed gets planted, it doesn't go away. It just grows. And then the twist hits. Not only is she pregnant, but she's not the only one. Another woman is carrying his child at the same time. Same timeline, same situation, overlapping in a way that's impossible to ignore. And just like that, everything changes. Because now this isn't about a private relationship anymore. This is about placement, about roles, about who knew what and when. And the most brutal part? The other woman isn't new. She's not someone random who came out of nowhere. She's already part of the story, already connected to a situation that caused problems before. Which means this isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern. And suddenly, all that defending, all that claiming, all that confidence, it starts to look different. It starts to look like someone was fighting for a position that was never secure to begin with. And that's where the past comes back into play, because that strip club situation everyone tried to move past, yeah, that wasn't just a random incident. At the time, it sounded simple enough, just another celebrity misunderstanding. The story going around made it seem like she walked in, threw money, then took it back, and people immediately judged her for it. It turned into this whole conversation about respect, about culture, about how you move in certain spaces. And for a moment, it really did look like she was in the wrong. But then another version of the story came out, and suddenly things weren't so clear. According to that side, it wasn't about being cheap or disrespectful at all. Her belongings had gone missing. Her wallet, specifically. And from her perspective, she wasn't about to just take that loss, so she reacted. She took her money back because, in her mind, something had already been taken from her. But even that explanation didn't clean things up. If anything, it just made the situation more tense. Because now you've got two sides, both feeling justified, both feeling wronged, and neither willing to back down. And looking at it now, knowing everything that came after, it doesn't feel like a random conflict anymore. It feels connected, like there was something deeper going on beneath the surface that hadn't fully come out yet. Something personal, something that didn't start that night, but definitely escalated because of it. And when you line that up with everything happening now, the pregnancies, the overlap, the same people involved, it starts to paint a completely different picture. One where the drama didn't just happen, it was building the entire time. And just when it seemed like the situation couldn't get any messier, that's when everything took a turn from drama into something way more serious. Because this wasn't just about rumors or internet chatter anymore. This is where real accusations started getting thrown around. Gorgeous Doll didn't just hint at tension. She came out with claims that completely changed the tone of the story. According to her, what happened that night didn't end inside the club. She alleged that things escalated outside, and not in a small way. We're talking about a full-on jumping incident. And what made it hit even harder was her claim that she was pregnant at the time. That immediately raised the stakes, because now this isn't just messy celebrity drama. It's something people are looking at like, wait, this could have real consequences. She even suggested that this wasn't random, that it was intentional, that it was personal. And whether people believed every detail or not, one thing was clear. The situation had crossed a line. This wasn't just about who's dating who anymore. This was about actions, decisions, and the kind of fallout that doesn't just disappear with time. But if there was any room left for doubt, it didn't last long. Because in the middle of all the noise, all the speculation, all the back and forth, there was a moment that shifted everything. And it came from the last place it should have. Her own words. What started as a random TikTok argument had nothing to do with the situation at first. Just another online back and forth, the kind that usually comes and goes without much impact. But then, in the middle of defending herself, she said a little too much. One comment turned into another, and before she could pull it back, she had essentially confirmed what people were already suspecting. Not directly, not in a clean statement, but enough. Enough for people to connect the dots. Enough for screenshots to start circulating. Enough for the narrative to flip completely. Because now it wasn't just accusations anymore. People felt like they had proof. And the reaction? Immediate. The same audience that once defended her started side-eyeing everything. The confidence, the denials, the y'all don't know what's going on energy, it all started to crumble. Because if you've been saying one thing this whole time, and then suddenly your own words contradict that, that's not just messy, that's credibility gone in real time. And that's what makes what came next hit even harder. Because just when it felt like things couldn't get more humiliating, the story circled right back to where it started. But worse. That same woman. The same one tied to the original drama. The same one at the center of the accusations. Still there. Still involved. And now, pregnant again. At the same time. Let that sink in. Everything that was denied, everything that was defended, everything that was brushed off like it didn't matter, it all comes back, louder and more undeniable than ever. And suddenly, it's not just about being embarrassed. It's about the irony of it all. Fighting that hard, going that far, standing that firm, just to end up in the exact situation people were warning about from day one. That's the kind of full circle moment you can't spin, you can't explain away, and you definitely can't ignore. Meanwhile, while all of this chaos is playing out loud and publicly, there's one person who hasn't needed to say much at all. And somehow, that silence speaks the loudest. Because through all of this, his wife has been right there. Not in a mix, not arguing, not going back and forth online. Just present, watching. And if you've been paying attention, those small, subtle moves, they say everything. A like here, a reaction there. Perfect timing every single time. No long captions, no messy responses, just quiet, controlled energy that feels almost intentional. Like she already knew how this was going to play out and didn't need to at all. And when you compare that calm, almost effortless presence to everything else going on, the arguing, the defending, the spiraling, it creates a contrast that's hard to ignore. One side is loud and chaotic, trying to hold everything together, and the other is quiet, steady, and completely unbothered. And then comes the part that really seals it. The part that takes everything from messy to undeniable. After all of this, after the rumors, the accusations, the overlapping pregnancies, the public defending, the private claiming, he still hasn't said anything. No public acknowledgement. No clear statement. No stepping up to define what any of this actually is. Even when they're seen in the same spaces, it's distant. Careful. Almost like he's going out of his way to keep that separation visible. And at a certain point, silence stops being neutral. It starts to feel like an answer. Because if someone was really standing on what you've been claiming this whole time, would it look like this? Would it sound like this? Or would there be something, anything, that makes it clear? Which brings everything back to one question that's honestly bigger than all the drama, bigger than the rumors, bigger than even the situation itself. Not just what happened, but why? Why go this hard? Why defend this loudly? Why risk your image, your peace, your credibility for something that was never fully being claimed in the first place? And now that everything is out in the open, with nothing left to hide behind, the real question is, what happens next? Because this isn't the kind of story that just ends quietly.